I've actually never tried a handstand, honestly.
To be fair, I was assisted by the wall. So
Did you twerk during it too?
no, actually, today was I actually was like, no, last night I was like just like sitting on my stomach on the floor. It's like something that I just do. I don't know why. And I was like, I haven't twerked in a while. I wonder.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Welcome into the Get in the Hole podcast. Stephen McAvoy, Ben Pirro here. Another episode in the world of golf. Ben, how you feeling?
Fabulous. Alex goes, "Can I leave?"
Yes, she can leave.
Yes, you can.
So Ben, we had our emergency meeting on Friday before the world basically went absolutely AWOL. But to kind of lean into the show here, we actually do have some breaking news that came out just about a half hour ago here on a Monday. Tony Finau, despite rumors that he would in fact jump to LIV to join Jon Rahm's newest team, he said, and I quote, hashtag, "I'm not leaving." He will look to defend his title at the Mexico and Houston Open this year in 2024. Ben, how much of a difference does Tony's non-departure to LIV does it give the PGA Tour any sort of I guess recovery leverage, being that the Jon Rahm news is still so big?
I mean, a little bit. I mean, he is definitely a superstar, not to the magnitude that Rahm is. But at the end of the day, I mean, the big domino to fall was Rahm. Like that was really the big one. So it's more of like I guess like a moral victory more than anything for the PGA Tour that they didn't lose Finau. But we've had plenty of people say that they're not going to LIV. They end up going anyway. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, I would call it a moral victory.
Yeah, I mean, I think this obviously solidifies that he'll be here for 2024. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen in 6 months whenever he gets more money offered. Potentially, the number that was going to come out would have been in excess of about $85 million, which naturally, in the current growing climate of the PGA Tour, he has potential, depending on how he plays, to make that in about 3 to 4 years. Granted, you could also make it in one brushstroke of a pen. But at the very least, Finau's non-move, in my opinion, really does kind of give them at least some semblance of hope that there aren't more guys who are just going to jump ship. Of course, the jury's still out on Tyrrell Hatton, who, not to toot my own horn, but had predicted both Finau and Hatton to jump. Hatton's still kind of in the weeds. We don't necessarily we haven't heard anything from his side yet. But if Hatton jumps, that's yet another top 25 player in the world jumping ship. And the boat's kind of, it isn't sinking at this very point, but with the loss of Rahm, and we had mentioned this on Friday, which, by the way, check out the exclusive emergency press conference that we had on that on Friday, this past Friday on YouTube. Check us out, YouTube at Getting the Whole Pod and Underground Sports Philadelphia. But the fact that Rahm left basically gave me the idea that who's next? Who else isn't safe at this point? Is going to be a mass exodus. We already know that the tour is divided in half in terms of guys who want to go join the PIF in negotiations, who want to join up with private equity firms and totally leave out the PIF and LIV in any sort of semblance of it. It's very clear now that there really is the schism is back, despite the framework back in June. And again, I was under the impression of, with the exception of Rory McIlroy, who we know wasn't going to jump, who was next? Was it Xander Schauffele? Was it Patrick Cantlay? Was it Jordan Spieth? Whoever it may be that was going to get insane sums of money. If Jon Rahm is getting $600 million, I can only imagine what Xander Schauffele would make, probably in the 300 to 400 range. Obviously, he's a top 10 golfer in the world. He isn't to the level of winningness as Jon Rahm is, because of course he still is without a major, but still a top name in the sport, somebody who most people know, particularly following his Olympic gold medal. So with Finau not jumping, I do think it is a moral victory, like you said, but the jury's still out. We still need to see what the PGA Tour can try and do to maintain these guys, because again, we very well might have a situation in the next 2 to 3 weeks that with the lead up to the LIV season, and of course the lead up to the Century Tournament of Champions in January, that you might see 3 to 4 more names jump ship in favor of particularly large signing bonuses. So that's to be seen. We'll see that as it comes in. And of course, we will keep you guys more in the loop on that. Speaking of which, the PGA Tour has announced they are in fact going to continue negotiations with Strategic Sports Consortium, which is basically a group led by Fenway Sports Group, one of the private investment funds that are looking to invest in the PGA Tour. That includes Red Sox, Penguins, and Liverpool owner John Henry, Arthur Blank, amongst others within the larger sports group. They had the most sports experience among the entirety of investors who were interested, but they've also announced they will in fact continue with the PIF in the hopes that they can get in a framework and an agreement done by Monahan's planned December 31st deadline. In your opinion, we haven't really discussed this yet. Do you think it's with the fact that they had already created this framework with the PIF, would it almost not make sense to leave them out and go the private investment route? Or do you think the PGA Tour could logically stay intact and maintain everything with both involved?
That's a very good question. I mean, I think with these potential investments, this definitely gives the PGA Tour a backup plan. That being said, I do not believe that these individuals, and who knows? I mean, depending on maybe what the bottom line is, what these companies would be willing to do if the PGA Tour is able to get a merger accomplished by the December 31st date. I mean, like I said in our emergency podcast, people who have a lot of money, they just care about the bottom line mostly. Yeah. It's really it's about making money. That's really what this is. The reason why the Oakland A's are becoming the Las Vegas A's is because of money. That's why. I think that there would be potential for those those organizations to kind of stick around if a merger is accomplished. But I could see it. Going the other way. Them saying, "No, we're not interested." So it's really just a coin flip. It really just depends. Who's really calling the shots for those companies and who they choose to be associated with.
What I learned on Friday, so we had KB on to discuss as a third party within the whole situation, and obviously his go-to is lacrosse, and he had brought up the MLL PLL merger, and essentially it wasn't even really a merger in the situation that we're seeing it now, where the PGA Tour is clearly trying to look for, despite they're not going bankrupt, but they do need a financial backing of some sort in order to try and keep up and keep pace with what LIV is doing to stay competitive. I had this idea after we had gotten off on Friday. He had mentioned that the PLL essentially was an offshoot lacrosse league that was going to give the players more equity, was going to essentially create teams, markets, whatever it may be, that are catered more to the players rather than the bottom line. And essentially, it all happened over one player, which was Lyle Thompson. And the PLL won at the end of the day, for those of you who obviously don't watch much lacrosse. The PLL, everybody jumped to the PLL because it was the more popular option. It gave the players more of an equity stake. It got them more involved. And while, yes, there were teams as opposed to the PGA Tour that has independent contractors as players, it actually had some sort of semblance of sustainability, which was something that the MLL didn't have for a long time. Guys were only making $500 game checks. And granted, the money still isn't there yet for the PLL either, but at the very least, equity is involved. They have a contract now with ESPN. There's motives there. One of the things that I realized was that in the case that the PIF joins up with the PGA Tour, it almost feels like at some juncture, with LIV still existing, that they're going to offer players equity. They're going to expand more teams. There's obviously, on any given week on the PGA Tour, a field of 150 some odd guys. So you could easily make 40, 50 different teams of 4 players, utilize what LIV is doing with free agency, with player trading, with signing, with qualifying events, which they just recently got 3 new qualifiers that automatically get bids on the LIV. There's more money payout. There's no more worry about having to make the cut every single week. They pay for caddy fees. They pay for traveling fees, hotels, whatever it may be. It almost gives me some sort of inkling that despite the fact the PGA Tour has been around for over 150 years, something to me gives me a feeling that LIV might win solely because the PIF behind it now has a stake in the PGA Tour and they have infinite money under their own creation. Do you think that maybe we see a world where if the PIF joins up with the PGA Tour, or even in a complete countermeasure, goes private investment over the PIF, and LIV wins either way? Because at the end of the day, the PIF simply has more money than anybody else could imagine.
Wait a minute. So you're saying if the PIF and the PGA Tour join, is it still possible?
Yeah, is it still possible that LIV becomes the main tour and the PGA Tour almost kind of ceases to exist?
Well, no, because the PIF because then merge with the PGA Tour because LIV is funded by the PIF.
Yes, but I'm saying that they would merge to just be LIV.
No. It would still be the PGA Tour. I'm sure of it. The PGA Tour, it wouldn't go defunct. It wouldn't cease to exist. It would just be partnering up with someone else. It wouldn't just be changed to LIV. I don't see how that would happen. No.
There's something about it that gives me an eerie feeling, and particularly if they wind up going the route of just private investment from John Henry. While yes, that investment group does have a lot of money, they're also putting it out of their own pockets and going up with, let's say, $50 billion of net assets, opposed to the PIF, who has $500 billion of assets. At some point, something's got to give, which gives me the weird thought that while everyone thought the MLL would exist forever, or we always thought whatever, there obviously hasn't been a situation, or like the ABA, right, in basketball. Everyone thought the ABA was the original. It obviously changed to the NBA due to the merger. Same thing happened with the NFL divisions. Granted, the NFL was always the NFL, but the AFL versus the NFL eventually all became one entity. But the AFL had better teams. Part of me doesn't think that the idea of the PGA Tour going defunct is something that just can't happen. We've seen it happen before across all sports, albeit 60, 70 years ago in their sports when the money wasn't necessarily a factor. It was more so the teams that were involved, and also the money wasn't really as big.
Yeah, but something going defunct, that means that you just failed financially. There's a difference between a merger and an organization.
Yes. Yeah, so wording wise, yes. I don't think the PGA Tour will ever go bankrupt. They're not going to basically just die out. But if they do end up merging, or alternatively, the PGA Tour doesn't merge with the PIF, that eventually everyone's just going to go to LIV because the PGA Tour can't compete anymore.
What people are understanding is that LIV doesn't want everyone from the PGA Tour. If they wanted everyone, they probably would have gotten most of the guys already.
They want the best.
Yes, they want the best, but at the bottom line is that there's only so many spots that they can give up. There's only so many guys they can sign because there's only going to be so many spots available per year, depending on whose contracts run out, who gets dropped from their contract based on how they finish at the end of that specific year. They're not going to sit there and every single PGA Tour player. That's not really their goal. I think that their goal is to basically say, we have the money, you guys have the TV contracts, the tradition. Overall, yes, you have the best players, even though we have very high-profile ones. You guys have the best schedule. But at the end of the day, we provide you guys, and let's just make this happen. So the PGA Tour, it's not going to go defunct. They're not going to go bankrupt. I just think there's a world where, is it possible that the PGA Tour just becomes the second best tour in the world now? Absolutely, for sure. Because the goal will no longer be to go to the PGA Tour. The goal will be to get to LIV because the money's just better. That's just a fact. You're going to be getting guaranteed money, and you're going to be making way more money on top of that based on your contracts. And at the events themselves, like that by default makes the money better, which makes the LIV more appealing than the PGA Tour. So when push comes to shove, these secondary investment options, they're just a safety blanket, albeit I think a weak safety blanket. The PGA Tour will never go defunct. There's absolutely no way, because that would mean Corn Ferry Tour goes defunct, Canada goes defunct, the Americas Tour goes defunct. All those feeder tours to the PGA Tour then just poof, they're gone. That's never going to happen.
No, I totally agree. I think that you're right. The LIV would wind up being the dominant force. And of course, we've already seen it with Rahm, the idea of creating a new team, expansion further on from the 48 player field than they started with. I think they will ultimately expand as more and more go, and they're going to delve into the relegation idea, and kind of like what soccer has, where they have a second division of LIV. I think as that grows, you'll see more and more of this PGA Tour almost become like the minor leagues or the next stage past like college, essentially, to then get to LIV, ultimately being on top. I think that's a more likely scenario. Very well said, Ben. I appreciate you kind of taking my words and elaborating them a little more.
Yeah.
Shifting gears, though, one of the funnier events of the week, Rory McIlroy, he's on some sort of a bender, and this is the opportunity for Ben to have his absolute his ream show on Rory. For those of you who didn't see it, on Twitter, tweeted out, calling out Henrik Stenson, saying, so essentially with Jon Rahm jumping to LIV, he had made mentions that the Ryder Cup rules need to change to include Jon Rahm because the Europeans need Jon Rahm in order to compete. And then someone said, oh, well, like, how about Ian Poulter and Sergio Garcia and Henrik Stenson? And he said, oh, the best thing that happened to the Ryder Cup in 2023 was Henrik Stenson jumping to LIV, so he couldn't be on the team. The Twitter world blew up. LIV went crazy. Everyone was calling him an old drunkard. Lee Westwood said, I remember my first beer, in quote to that tweet. Is Rory just completely out of line? Is he losing touch? Is he losing the sense of leadership the PGA Tour needs?
He was never fit to be a leader in the first place. And I am not talking about Rory McIlroy until he wins a major. That's it. I'm done talking about him.
I honestly don't have anything to add here. I do think that he's an absolute. He's on something. Whether it's dating back to even the Ryder Cup when he was going at Joe LaCava and then in the parking lot with Bones, the idea that Rory McIlroy has been on this like pedestal for the last 3 years trying to defend the PGA Tour and be the face that golf needs with Tiger Woods not really in the fold due to recovery. I think this is the kind of the cherry on top. He's kind of just lost it. And Dan Rappaport had tweeted it out, and we had mentioned it on Friday, that Patrick Cantlay is basically calling the shots now in the players-only meetings, where, to my response is, where's Rory McIlroy? What's his involvement now? He left the policy board. He has no more say in that side. Now it's Jordan Spieth's game to play. He says he has a lot going on. The TGL isn't starting until 2025. Like, what's up with Rory? To me, that's an absolute mystery, and I'm like kind of scared almost to see like what the future holds for him, because it seems just like a downward trend from here on out. It's just not really going to change anytime soon.
By the way, I'm dead serious. I am not talking about him until he wins a major. So if you have questions, you can answer them. But I'm just going to respond by saying he hasn't won a major. I'm not.
It's been how long? 10 years? 11 years?
On 10 years. 2014 Open Championship, I think. No, PGA Championship. PGA Championship was the last time he won a major. So, yeah, we're approaching 10 years. And until he wins a major, I will not be answering any questions regarding him. I will just be giving you the same answer, which is I am not speaking about Rory McIlroy until he wins a major.
I am so excited for our show after the holiday when we do our our season predictions, and I ask you, will Rory McIlroy finally win the Grand Slam at Augusta in April? That'll be the question of the year.
I think I said he would going. I think I might have said he would win going into this year at the Masters. I don't know.
We had very early predictions. I think now we're going to do it obviously again.
To be fair, those weren't I don't really think that those were official predictions. And besides, predictions change because it's not even the same calendar year, in my opinion. So, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no. Our prediction show is the upcoming show post holiday. So,
I've had enough. I've had enough. Yeah, I've had enough.
Well, there you go. Folks, we're going to take a short break. On the other side, special guest Alex Giles, two-time All-American, joining the pod, discussing her career and her life as a college golf coach at Seminole State, one of the JUCO studs in the golf game. Folks, don't go anywhere. Huge interview coming up. We'll see you soon.
Get in the Hole is brought to you by PHI Apparel Company, our incredible merch partners. PHI Apparel Co. provides unique designs and high-quality clothing from T-shirts to hoodies for every golfer around. With their original designs for all, there's no doubt you'll stand out on the course, the driving range, or at the 19th hole. Go to phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND at checkout for 10% off any order. That's code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co and grab exclusive Get in the Hole podcast merch and support your favorite golfers.
Welcome back into the Get in the Hole podcast. Ben Pirro, Stephen McAvoy joining us this week on everyone's favorite podcast, Alex Giles. The resume speaks for itself as a youngin in the golf world, getting her wings and spreading out. Two-time NJCAA, I can't speak today, national champion, two-time All-American. She has 4 college titles to her name, the Southland Conference champion, and she has played in the NCAA regional as an individual this past year. I'm going to assume that did a damn good job. Alex, thank you for joining us this week. Ben, thank you for getting Alex on. Of course, you two are familiar with each other, so I appreciate that. And with that, tell the crowd a little bit about yourself. Of course, we know what your resume is, but what got you into golf? How did you get into this field? And what are you looking forward to as your career progresses?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Alex Giles from England originally. Moved here 5 years ago to go to college. Didn't really have a great junior career, was never anything special, but knew that I wanted to come to America to play collegiate golf. So that I did. Started at Seminole State, which is a junior college in Central Florida, where we are right now. Had 2 great years there, and then COVID happened. Got an extra year. So I won twice at Seminole State, and then we won 2 national championships. Our 2020 national championship got canceled because of COVID. So I did my extra year and then won in my 3rd year. And then I transferred to a small Division I school in San Antonio, Texas, Incarnate Word. They were terrible when I got there. Ranked I think we were ranked 150. And by the time we left, we got to top 70.
Oh, wow.
Head coach left, and now they're collapsing again, unfortunately. But they were 2 great years as well. We broke a lot of records in those 2 years. We didn't have many players. My 4th year of college, we only had 5 players, so everyone had to go to the tournament. So it was tough, but yeah, we won two events, and as I say, broke a lot of records, and came close at conference both times, but had a great time there. And then graduated, moved back here to Orlando, took a job at the Mike Bender Golf Academy, as a house parent and kind of do some junior coaching as well. And then also the assistant coach at Seminole State.
Awesome.
That's
Very cool.
Where I'm at.
Nice. Yeah. So when going over your career, let's kind of start all the way from the beginning, of course. So back at home, from England, of course. By the way, love the accent. I was telling Ben about it before the show. I was like, I love. No. Ben thinks I'm so freaking weird. I've had this like obsession, I guess you can call it, with the British population. I went to England on a connection flight to Malta, my first time ever in Europe, and I was just like, oh my god, like everything they say about England is completely true, and I absolutely loved it. I was there for like 5-6 hours. It was a amazing time. Anyways, I'm tangenting. Let's go all the way back. Beginning of your golf career. Who taught you to get into the game? What inspired you to get started? Obviously, in the home of golf, the United Kingdom, having so much experience in golf around you, what made you want to pursue golf as a full-time career?
My dad and his dad was a great player. Unfortunately, I never got to meet my granddad, but my dad's still a great player. He's always been around scratch, plus figures. Played all his life. Should have really played as a pro, but didn't. Money was not good back then. And we all know it's tough. So yeah, he really got me into it. I used to spend all day, every day out there with him. Would drive my mum crazy. We were never at home, but yeah, we would be on the golf course till dark often. So yeah, he was, and I still love playing with him. He's great to play with. Have a great relationship with my dad, and a lot of our conversation is golf. So yeah, him. And then obviously, as you get into golf, you've got golfing figures that you look up to from a young age. For me, it was like Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Ben's favorite guy, and who else? Didn't really watch a lot of women's golf, but a lot of the Korean players I just thought were awesome. And then some British people, local people. Chris Wood, don't know if you've heard of Chris Wood, played in the Ryder Cup a few years ago. He's at my home club, so got to watch him practice, play a lot. Had a lot of good amateurs in my county that I lived in. So I was in a great place for golf in England. We were one of the best counties in the country, so we got a lot of great players.
Did we lose Ben already? If we did, we have a long interview ahead of us. So we talk tell me a bit about in terms of playing as a junior, growing through the ranks. Is it similar in England as it is to the States, where high school teams, primary school teams, same kind of idea, and then you work your way up? Of course, there's obviously university in England and across the country, but is the rank kind of the same? What made you want to come to the States once all was said and done in your junior career?
Yeah, we don't play high school golf. Okay. If you go to college in England is from 16 to 18, so it's like high school years here. So we play. Yeah, you can go to a college that kind of specializes in golf. But I did that. I did 1 year at one place and then did another year at another place, and it was good, but not anything like college golf here. You just kind of play in a few tournaments. There's a couple different leagues. So yeah, it's not really anything like it is here. You'll see a lot of British, European people wanting to come to college in America because it's so competitive, but we don't have that in England really at all. So yeah, it was just more junior golf. I played a lot of junior golf. You've got all the English girls, British girls, English women's, and then you've got all your regional events and your county events. So that was kind of what I did. and I was very successful in like at the regional level. I had a couple good events nationally, but never anything crazy. But yeah, I always felt like I was a bit of a big fish in a small pond because I was very good in my county, and I think I won the county championship like 2 years in a row.
Oh, geez.
Which didn't happen very often. So, and we were a strong county. So, yeah. But nationally, never really did anything. I wasn't really heavily recruited by colleges before coming here. It's kind of why I ended up at a junior college.
Do you typically see a lot of recruitment from from Europe to the States? I feel like it's for the very, very few and far between.
Yeah, now you look at college rosters, men's and women's, and throughout. I mean, Division 1, Division 2, probably not so much Division 3, and also at the junior college level, there's a lot of Europeans, Europeans and Asian, and yeah, it's become very, very popular. And you know, it's nice because you don't have to be a great player to come play college golf, which is great because we're getting people that from England that I haven't really ever heard of, you know, and I'm pretty familiar with the kind of the junior golf scene in England, and there's players I haven't really heard of, and they're going to good schools, so it's cool. It's cool to see.
Alex, you had mentioned that you're now the assistant coach at Seminole State. Because I have kind of like my own theory as to what college coaches kind of look for in players, and I know depending on the program, depending on the coach, depending on the personalities that are already on the team, what one coach looks for might be different from another coach. What are things that you and Krista specifically look for when you're recruiting players to go to Seminole State?
Yeah, Seminole State's a little different because we're a junior college. Typically, the people that come to a junior college need a junior college, whether it's for, you know, language purposes, English isn't their first language, or they have some kind of learning issue, disability, whatever, injury, that kind of thing. So the people that come to Seminole State need us, and usually they progress on to do great things. But personally, and Krista I know is the same, we look at attitude is a big one. You know, and you have to want to work, you have to want to buy into what we do, and we've got a great program. We can go into that, but we do a lot of things that Division 1 schools don't do, and they don't really know about. So buy-in is a big one. They have to, you know, we tell them what we do, and they have to want to kind of, because there's a lot of kids that want to come play for us. We're a great school. And me personally, I do look at technique. I don't know so much about Krista, but you know, when she sends me kids' profiles, I look at their videos, and I think you can tell how good a player is going to be. And this is a bold statement, but how good a player is going to be just from looking at how they hit a bunker shot, how they hit a chip shot, putting stroke, that kind of thing, setup, fundamentals, all those things. So I look at that.
So okay, that's interesting, because when I was coming out of high school, I was told, they're like, you know, yeah, you can send videos of, you know, the traditional, like you hit putts, chip shots, pitch shots, bunker shots, wedge shots, 7-iron driver, so forth. You can do that, but that's not really like the thing to do anymore. So what you're saying is you guys still look at that stuff. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know, if a kid doesn't send their videos, or I'll find them on Instagram.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you think it can be hard because like I have friends that have played at the junior college level, and specifically in golf and baseball. And I've heard, I'm not sure if it's the same. I never asked them this question, but I've football junior colleges. It can be really hard to get the guys all on the same page to buy in because they're all basically there to try to get out. Is that something that you notice being in the position that you're in, or do you think that it's pretty easy to get the girls to buy in? If so, is it because it's a different sport, or just because of your resume and Krista's resume? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. It is very different for golf. Typically, we haven't really had an issue with kids buying into what we do. I think it's because it is very cutting edge, and Krista's great. She's had a lot of success with what she does. But for baseball, we see it a lot at Seminole State. Yeah, they're there to get out. They're, they just, that's kind of how that goes. And I think it is a sport thing. You don't really see that kind of attitude at the junior college level with golf, because they kind of have to graduate, do their 2 years, and move on. It's rare you see a player stay at a junior college for 1 year and move on to a Division I or whatever. So yeah, it's a little different with golf.
I want to elaborate more on this difference between JUCO and the Division I level, because they're obviously, I feel like we get kind of wrapped up in the idea that Division I is everything, and at the end of the day, you see it with even shows like Last Chance U and other programs. I had a friend who started out playing, who was a runner in D3 at Muhlenberg. He moved on to go D1 in his final 2 years. You look at the differences between JUCO and the limitations that you have and the way that you guys have to operate. And speaking from personal experience, of course, you've had this experience as well. What's the biggest takeaway that you've taken away from being a part of a JUCO and having to work within those parameters, and then carrying it over to as a coach, kind of now looking at it from a different lens almost? What do you teach your athletes? How do they acclimate to the situation, and how do you guys come out stronger at the end of the day?
Yeah, as you say, it's very different. It's tough. What do they call themselves? JUCO bandits.
Yeah.
It's, you're there for 2 years, and you've only got 2 years to prove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you either go play big D1 or you don't. And the majority of players obviously want to go big D1. So yeah, from a coaching perspective, it's funny looking back at kind of how I acted, my teammates acted in that kind of situation, knowing you've only got 2 years. But 2 years is actually a long time too. It's a longer time than what you realize. And if you come in with the right mindset and the willingness to get better and to take in all the resources that are available to you, you can get a lot better in 2 years, a lot better. And we've had players that don't need to get much better, especially our ones that come from Japan, Thailand. They're great players, but they're not NCAA qualifiers because of English purposes. So they have to go to a junior college to learn English to move on. So we've had a couple players who are studs. I mean, we've got one girl who's at Oregon right now, and they're a top 5 team in the country. Pac-12. Are they Pac-12? I think they're Pac-12.
I think they're gonna jump to the Big Ten at some point, but
technically they're Pac-12 through the end of next year. Yeah,
right. Yeah, like insane. We've had a girl go to South Carolina. They've got a great women's golf program. So Baylor, So, and that's purely for English purposes. So, as I say, it does definitely depend on your circumstances. We've had girls that are late bloomers who come and they get good very late, or they start the game late. One of our girls this year, Tabitha, last year she wasn't even in the lineup a lot, and this year she won a tournament, and she's like our top one in our top 3 players. She's awesome, doing great, and she's got bought into everything we offer, and she's gotten a lot better in a year. So yeah, it's not difficult for us to get that kind of buy-in, because I think they feel like, oh my God, I only have 2 years. I have to, I have to get better. But really it's not. And the thing that I preach a lot to them is take in everything you have, because this will never happen again. It really is the easiest 4 years of your life. There's a bit of a stigma right now with college sports and how it's affecting people's mental health, whatever. It was the easiest 5 years of my life. I had a great time. Everything's given to you on a plate. You get a schedule. You know what you're doing every day. And I try and preach that to the girls, because that was one of my biggest, like, oh my God, now I have to do everything for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think, when you're late in college, you start to see that, like, oh yeah, actually this is really cool. Like, I'm literally getting to do what I love for my career, pretty much, and I'm getting paid to do it. You're getting a free education.
Yeah.
So when you look at it that way, it's a lot easier to have success, I think.
What's the biggest challenge for you as a administrator and a coach that, or like the biggest roadblock that you do have as a JUCO that a Division I school doesn't necessarily have to worry about?
Time, I would say. Time and money. We have no money. Our budget is very small. And we haven't got much time with these girls. Mm-hmm. I said 2 years actually seems like a lot, but in reality, it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, our budget for sure, when you compare it to a Division I school, it's kind of laughable, but we make the best of it. We've got great donors, all that stuff, who support us a lot. And we plan a schedule that kind of suits us. We don't travel a whole lot. We plan great events in Florida, in South Georgia. So yeah, that would be the big one.
What have you noticed? Have you noticed a difference in your perspective going from player to coach, since being in college and now actually coaching people that are in you? How has your perspective changed?
It's changed a lot. And I've done a lot of thinking about, when I was in college. It's like, I look back and I think, oh my God, I was so stupid. But it's allowed me to have a lot more patience, I think, with these girls. Because I can relate to them, because it was like last year for me. I was in college last year. So I think that's really helped me. But also, yeah, it's definitely changed my perspective. I mean, being a coach, and I feel like you feel all those same feelings you do as a player. You're just not hitting the ball. And that brings out a whole new side in me. I see things in players that are like, they do stupid and crazy things on the golf course that I probably did myself, and you don't think anything of it, but yeah, you see things as a coach you don't see as a player. That's for sure.
What's the hardest part of going from playing and having to adjust basically your whole ideology? Because for a long time, it's always you're focusing in on yourself. Now you're focusing in on everybody else. What's been the biggest adjustment for you going from player to coach?
Yeah, it's working with different types of people, and everyone's different. We work with mental golf type. I know Ben works with John, mental golf type as well. It's an unbelievable system, and honestly, it's made my kind of adjustment into coaching a whole lot easier because I have a system for each person on the team. But yeah, learning how to communicate with players is a whole new ball game for me. I think I do a pretty good job at it as a beginner. I am a beginner. But yeah, I try and be around coaches, people. I'm very good friends with a lot of great Division I coaches. I try and learn from them as much as possible. One of my best friends is my coach who was at Incarnate Word. She's now the head coach at Cincinnati. A great coach, and my boss is one of the best coaches in the country. Mm-hmm. So, basically I can learn from two of the best coaches arguably in the country. But yeah, I got to keep an open mind and know that I'm going to make mistakes. And I remind my players of that too. This is my first time doing this, and I am going to say the wrong thing at the wrong time, but that's something that I'm going to learn from, and so are they. So it's a nice position to be in. And I think when everyone has understanding for each other, it breeds for a good situation.
Please tell your coach, your friend who's the coach at Cincinnati, I'm sorry for their devastating loss to my Xavier Musketeers. Anyway, segueing into the next question.
He always finds a way. He always finds a way.
He does.
We're
he talks like he was a point guard for the Xavier Musketeers, but he
are Superior University in the beautiful city of Cincinnati.
But he was on their worst. He was on Xavier's worst team.
100%. I don't care.
Ouch!
I still got a jacket. I openly admit we own UC at everything except for men's golf. It's
yeah.
It really is.
The one thing that you can easily give Xavier credit for, though, is they have a great color scheme. I give them that.
Oh, it's dynamite. It's so good. Anyway, let's not get off topic. I just got us off topic. Looking at this, your side of as being a player, when you're personally struggling with your golf game, what do you do to get out of that funk? Is it more technical work? Is it analyzing kind of your decisions mentally, your attitude? What exactly are you looking into specifically to reflect?
For me, it's never technique, really. I do one or two things wrong, and the rest of it's setup. So mostly I'll spend a lot of time doing alignment, that kind of stuff, when I'm having issues, but it's all mental for me. And as a coach, becoming a coach, I've become so aware of that too. And I think I pick up on when I'm making mental mistakes. I've started playing a little bit again, and I definitely notice myself making those mistakes much easier than what I did when I was a player. So I think having that experience as a coach has definitely helped me as a player.
When you were going through your college career, and obviously you've graduated quite recently, so you literally made the jump straight into coaching. Was the plan always to be a coach, or are you simultaneously working on your own game to eventually go pro? Or some sort of tour in the future?
Yeah, the plan was always to play professional golf. My college career, I seem to have just been riddled with different injuries. So I kind of got to a point where it was like, is it going to be worth the, because I'm going to be practicing more. Is it going to be worth the time and the money to do it? And I was lucky that I got this job at the Mike Bender Academy, because I thought at the time it's going to be great. I have a place to practice, and I'm being paid, and I got somewhere to live. So I'm very grateful that I'm still able to go and work on my own game. Doing that a lot more now. But yeah, I do have a view to play Q School in 2024, whether that be European Tour or LPGA. I don't know. But hopefully LPGA, that would be great. But I also wouldn't mind moving back home and playing European stuff. So don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that is definitely in the cards.
Steven, have you seen her swing?
No, actually, I've when Ben told me that you were coming on, I had a packed weekend. And I basically had no time to check anything out except from your very light breeze of social media.
Yeah.
But no, I have not seen the swing.
So you both know I don't give compliments out very often. She
Really?
has one of the shut up. She has no, in all seriousness, and I've said this to you, Alex, before. She has one of the most fundamentally sound golf swings I've seen. Especially out of college. I think a lot of players can actually, depending on what program you come from and how good the program is, like some people can really develop bad habits coming out of college. It just depends on the coach. But Alex has one of the most fundamentally sound swings I've seen from someone like right out of college. And like she was hitting balls the other day, and like I really hadn't seen you hit balls in a long time. And I was like, yeah, it looks pretty good. We'll go play, and I'll win. But other than that,
Yeah.
Does Ben win though?
That's what.
No,
Don't answer. That's one of the questions next. Don't answer it. Okay. Don't answer it.
I guess if we're already digging there, we might as well segue.
No. I have one more important question. Actually, one more important question.
You're killing me here, Smalls. All right, go ahead, please.
Dude, you drive me insane. Knock it off.
Oh, really? Back at you.
Really. Anyway, Alex, I know you're kind of just getting back into the playing aspect. How do you structure your practices on, say, like a non-tournament week versus a tournament week where you're kind of gearing up or getting ready to play? Are you playing more leading up to the tournament? Are you playing less, like in an off week? How exactly do you go about doing that for someone who's looking to get better in tournament golf and is looking to budget their time more effectively?
Yeah, that's a good question, because just like probably the average person watching the show, I work a few jobs as well. So I'm trying to kind of do my own practice around working. But yeah, when I'm no tournament, it's a lot of on the range. I'm doing a lot of swing stuff that I know I need to work on. If you take lessons, that kind of thing, just from a teacher, kind of get help from people at the Mike Bender Academy. So work on my swing a little bit, a lot of alignment. I'm huge on that. Alignment, ball position is like my biggest thing. And kind of doing a lot of speed training as well. I don't hit it really far, so I try and do as much speed stuff when I can. Putting as well, same technique, that kind of stuff. Chipping, I feel like technique is pretty good. So, but during a tournament week, I like really pound the short game, lag putting, short putts. and I play a bunch. I found when I was in college, during the season, I really wouldn't see the driving range for like 5 months. I would just, go to the driving range to warm up and then go play. And I would play a lot. So, yeah, I love to play. I feel like that's where you learn how to play golf, to be honest. And even now, at this stage, you can always learn more. And that's definitely the best thing for me, personally, playing.
God knows that I could use a lesson or two on alignment.
You really could. This guy, he aims like 50 yards right, and he's like, "Why am I coming over the top and like hitting it like this?" I'm like,
I'm
up over there. Come on, man.
I'm like the world's most okayest golfer for the average Joe.
Okay. Keep telling yourself that, dude. Okay.
I take pride in the fact that only 27% of golfers in the world can break 100. And I am of the cast who can almost break 90.
Unbelievable. That is the standard.
Just saying.
Anyway, all right.
That's a good
my early year goal of becoming a single digit handicapper was completely washed. I tried. I'm a 14 now. I started the year at I started the year at a 14. I basically didn't move. The needle didn't move at all.
Come on, Steven.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll try and make it work. So
all right. So we're gonna do some rapid fire questions. We're gonna run through this pretty quick. Steven, lead us off, sir.
Alex, first thing that comes to your mind for every single one of these answers, do not think about them. How many pillows do you sleep with?
2.
Socks, then shoes, or sock, shoe, sock, shoe?
Socks, then shoes.
What's the hardest shot in golf to perfect?
40-yard bunker shot.
Where did you find that question?
Oh, I have so many. I have so many random ass questions that I dig up from
your time. It's the list that I typed up. Oh my gosh, that's why I said odd or even. All right. Anyway, what 3 items are you bringing to a deserted island?
You can't leave the island, by the way.
So that's tough. I didn't even think about that.
A 58-degree wedge.
Ooh, I like that one. Okay.
It's a damn weapon.
A hat.
Okay.
And a golf ball.
So no water.
Nah. You can drink the deserted island.
Yeah, that's salt water.
Well, no, you could boil ocean water and filter it out. If you ever watch Bear Grylls.
If I'm not gonna leave there, then yeah, the golf ball and the club.
It's like what's the movie with Tom Hanks, the volleyball?
Wilson.
What?
Wilson? Is it Wilson?
Yeah. Well, the volleyball's name is Wilson. Castaway, is it?
Oh yeah. That's what it is.
There you go. What's your go-to song in the car?
I got so many. Right now? Is that
now?
Probably Drake and Nicki Minaj's new song.
Okay, I did.
I can't remember what it's called. Something needle. Turn the needle or something. Can't remember. It's a good song.
Let's go. Celebrity crush.
There's so many.
I know. We got to pick one. Come on.
Yeah, sure.
Ben Pirro.
I knew.
Ew! Oh God. The last thing we need to do is gas him up more.
See, she's still trying to marry me for that green.
Yeah, for the green.
I'm absolutely dead. What's your favorite or most used app on your phone?
Spotify.
Solid. Are you a fan of Liv?
Does this have to be a fast answer?
This one. Take your time on this one. Take your time.
Okay. The concept of Liv is ridiculous. I hate it. I hate it. This whole team thing and the names of the teams, whatever. I hate it.
The names suck. They do suck.
But there's a big but. The more people go on about growing the game, what we're doing right now is not growing the game. Like, Liv has potential to grow the game. But the pros that are getting in the way of that, like the likes of Rory McIlroy, his latest on Twitter has been pretty wild. Him doing this is not growing the game. And him, you know, remaining with the PGA Tour and saying, fuck you, Liv, pretty much, is not growing the game. I don't think. Because it's just creating more and more separation between Liv and the PGA Tour. I think the PGA Tour needs to just stop banning Liv players from playing in their events. And everyone's happy. I think Liv players would still play in a few PGA Tour events. But because there's been such a hostile environment around that topic, it makes things really difficult, I think.
Until ultimately the PGA Tour goes bankrupt trying to keep track.
They're not going to go bankrupt. I'm so sick and tired of you saying that. They're not going to go bankrupt.
They have no money.
Dude,
There's a reason why they're trying to get back in bed with the Saudis to begin with. Anyways, we digress. Your go-to coffee order.
Cafe con leche.
Fancy.
All right. Who would win in the match, you or me?
When? Because you have a broken foot, and I am terrible right now.
Wait, what?
So if you and I went at it right now, probably me.
In 6 months, let's just say, when I'm back to like normal, even though I'm not normal.
That also gives me 6 months of practice, and I'm pretty good.
I'm pretty good too. Jesus.
Ben's hitting 30-yard punch shots max right now.
Actually, I got up to 50 yards today, so joke's on you, son.
Proud of you.
Probably you, Ben. I'll give it to you. Probably.
You're such a sweetheart. We're gonna have you on again.
I know. I'm so cool.
Do you have any pre-round or pre-shot superstitions?
It's a weird one. But when I was young and I would play in junior tournaments, my grandmother would always say, keep a bent pin in your pocket. So I do keep a bent pin in my golf bag at all times.
Interesting.
That's
Is there any like significance to that? Like there's
I have no idea.
That's
we'll need grandma to explain more.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll have to ask her.
Okay, build your dream concert. You have 3 artists.
Okay. Drake is definitely one of them. Because why not? Then I would go probably Peggy Goo.
Who? Peggy Goo?
Peggy Goo. DJ. Really cool.
Okay.
So,
house, like EDM?
Yeah, she's house music.
Oh, I need to look this person up. Okay.
And then probably Diplo.
I dig. I saw Diplo at the Belmont Stakes this year. That shit was lit.
Oh, that's
it was so good. I had never been to an EDM concert. Oh my god! Cool. And I was riding the high. I had made $700 on the horse race before the concert started because it was like the stakes was like at 7. The concert was at 5. I was sitting there like a degenerate watching all the prelim races. And I had won $700. I'm drunk off my ass, and I'm like, "Oh, it's Diplo!" And I'm just like bobbing and weaving like an absolute wacko.
I can't believe I'm going to expose myself like this, but I actually went to EDC a couple years ago, and it was lit.
I love that. That's absolutely amazing. I love it. Would you rather always be too hot or too cold?
Too cold.
Interesting.
For
I
sure.
think we might have lost Ben again. I'll go again. What's your go-to shot when you're nervous?
A little punchy cut.
What's the one golf club you can't live life without?
58-degree wedge.
Also the weapon of choice for
the
Desert
desert
Island.
island. Yeah.
I love it. What's the best flavor of chip?
Jalapeno.
Ooh, a little spicy. Who would play you in a movie?
Oh my god. Who would play me in a movie? Probably Liam Neeson.
That's such a random comparative.
I know, but it's so true.
People tell me that I look like a cross between Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill. I mean, it kind of works, but like, hopefully not like the Moneyball or like 21 Jump Street Jonah Hill. Hopefully, like a little bit like skinnier. What's the most underrated item in your bag?
Probably the club cleaner.
Is there any specific brand that you carry?
Any specific brand of club cleaner?
Yeah, I don't know. People have like specifics.
No, I think I got mine from like the PGA Superstore. I don't know what brand it is. Maybe Masters or something.
Ben, make up ground. I'm like 4 questions deep.
All right, I got you. Weirdest place you've ever seen a TV?
What? That's so.
What the hell?
Kyle asked me this when I got back on the show, like back in
Good
June.
question.
I'm trying to think now. I don't know. That's so weird.
I saw some in the bathroom at the urinals.
Yep, MSG.
I was at Black Bear. It's a golf course, but yeah, I know they do that at MSG.
Yeah, I feel like in a toilet or something in the bathroom. Like it's kind of a weird place for a TV, but yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't pay attention enough.
Okay, you're a Lions fan. How?
Why?
Okay.
I understand why. I mean, we can't really speak, Steven. You're a Jets, and I'm a Jets, and you're a Giants fan. So,
hey, Tommy DeVito, Tommy touchdowns.
Oh my gosh, I take Detroit any day of the week.
So maybe 4 Thanksgivings ago, the Lions play every Thanksgiving, and I was just at Krista's house watching the Lions, and it was awesome, and didn't really think anything more of it. And then last year, again, Thanksgiving, they played Green Bay. Or was this Thanksgiving? No, it wasn't Thanksgiving.
This Thanksgiving was Green Bay. They played.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they played Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers was still on the team. Am I getting this right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
And they beat them. And it was insane. Like, it was such a cool game. But to go with that, Krista, who is the head coach at Seminole State, is from Windsor in Ontario. Mm-hmm. So she is a Detroit Lions fan. So kind of that too, I guess.
Fun fact, I won $100 bet this Thanksgiving betting on the Lions betting on the Packers over the Lions, because the Lions going into Thanksgiving this year were 0-12 when the moon formation was a waxing gibbous. And I told everyone in my family that everyone thought, Steven, you are the most degenerate gambler on the planet.
Yeah.
There's no freaking way this happens. The Packers were like plus 340, and I won. And they're all like, "How the fuck did you guess this?" And I'm like, "Telling you, man, waxing gibbous moons. That's all it is."
This is about the time when the Lions become a fucking disaster. I know it.
Oh yeah,
we've done great, but
God damn. Who has the most swag on tour?
Tony Finau.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he got a lot going on there.
When you play, do you go skirt, shorts, pants, 3/4 pants?
Oh, pants.
What's the opinion on the 3/4 pants? They're basically capris.
Like, do you want a dumb fucking tan line? That's
Tell Brooke Henderson that.
I don't get it.
Wow, you guys have cursed more than I have, but I haven't cursed at all.
Well, I don't owe $20 whenever I say it, so
yeah, me neither.
I'll avoid.
I'm up to 100. So, who's your dream foursome?
In golf.
Enforcement.
You're such a child, Steven. You're
It's an important preface. It's an important preface.
Can I fire him? Kyle, can I fire him, please?
Dream foursome.
Yes.
Can they be dead too?
Yeah, sure.
Hogan. Ben Hogan. Roger Federer.
Ooh, good one.
Messi. And probably Tiger.
Solid.
Yeah.
What's your favorite course you ever played?
I got two. They're at a tie. First one is Red Sky in Vail, Colorado. Place is sick. Other one is Las Americas in Tenerife, which is a Canary island.
Interesting.
Place was also incredible.
What's your best moment of your golf career?
Probably my third college title.
Individual?
Yeah, it was at it was Kennesaw State's event. It was at Pine Tree. And I shot 68, 68, 68. And it was a lot of fun.
Pretty damn good. What's your biggest on-course pet peeve?
Probably when people stand the other side of the hole when I'm hitting when you're putting.
That one. Dream vacation.
I've been really wanting to go to Canada.
Oh.
Never been. Really wanted to go to, like I see on social media all the time. Is it Banff? Yeah, Banff. It just looks so beautiful. BANFF.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think that might be Alaska. Is that Alaska?
No, it's definitely Canada. It's near Calgary, I think.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Just looks so beautiful. Yeah, definitely would love to go there.
I didn't pay attention in school, so my geography is.
Didn't pay attention to a lot of things. How do you mark your golf ball?
How do I mark my golf ball? So my lucky number is 6. And it's also just my dad's birthday is the 6th of the 6th, 1966. He's the devil.
Wow.
Yeah. So
He's the devil.
So I write a 6 in Roman numerals, which is like 1V, I think.
It's VI?
Yeah. Or VI, yeah.
VI?
Yeah.
Why do we park cars in driveways but drive on parkways?
That is the most Ben Pirro question I've ever heard in my life.
I have an even funnier follow-up to this, so.
Go for it.
No,
Well, you answered the question.
Answer Ben first.
How about I don't know?
I don't know either. I thought maybe you would know.
Do cars in the Pixar movie Cars, that universe, do they have car insurance or life insurance?
I have an answer to that one, but Alex, you go ahead.
Car insurance.
Ben?
They have car insurance because that's their form of life insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point,
That's exactly what I was.
At that point, the answer is just life insurance. Then.
Well, no, it's just all the same. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess technically you can't go wrong. This is my last one. Favorite co-host.
Oh man.
Well, if he keeps cursing, is he?
Ben,
it's not. Yeah, I haven't cursed. What are you
I'm
saying?
just saying. By
Ben,
year's
it's
end.
not you, if that's what you're after.
I know it's not me. I just want to give Steven a little bit of a jolt.
Hey,
No,
Ben,
he-
nah, both of you are awesome.
Oh,
He totally thought that you'd say him. Just saying.
no way.
All right,
no way.
Final question of the show: where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully teaching golf, maybe a college coach, and still playing a little.
Well said. Alex, thank you so much for joining us. Been a incredible time. Probably one of the funnier hours that I've been able to spend in the interview room, particularly these questions. Where we come up with these, I don't really know.
I don't know either. They're good ones though.
Oh, believe me, there are way more that I didn't even ask that I have from
I have a couple
back in the day.
Yeah, I have a
Like-
couple. So just
Yeah, there are some that are probably best left not on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Giles, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck to the team as they progress on, and hopefully we'll have you on soon.
Thank you so much.
I was gonna say. I said do a handstand.
Do you think I could do a handstand?
If I could do one drunk, hey, look, if I could do one drunk, you could do one sober.
I've actually never tried a handstand, honestly.
To be fair, I was assisted by the wall. So
Did you twerk during it too?
no, actually, today was I actually was last night I was just sitting on my stomach on the floor. It's like something that I just do. I don't know why. And I was like, I haven't twerked in a while.
Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time, and remember, get in the hole!